Nice. Okay.
Um, Hold up. I'm gonna copy this real quick. Guys, I'm so
Raspberry and
excited.
chocolate.
I'm so excited. Oh, we got new people coming in. All right. I'm so excited for this. This is gonna be so fun. Let me see.
Raspberry and chocolate. That's
Okay.
crazy.
Raspberry and I love raspberry. Anything raspberry just
I don't think I've ever even actually had a raspberry.
all right, man, class is canceled. So you guys I'm kidding. Let me see here. Let me just see what I can get.
So,
Invites.
don't look in my room. Messy.
Okay, wait. Okay, we should probably start since about like I'd say like 80% of the people who I think reserved are here, 70%, whatever it is.
All right.
Hi, welcome. This is the. Can everyone hear me? Okay, I think I sound decent. Um, I'm hoping that it's not too loud or anything. So, welcome to QWave's first
Oh, you're
masterclass of the.
you're
What's
only
up?
in the left ear, bro. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, I know why. Hold up. Let me fix that. How about that?
I think you're mono now.
Yeah, I am mono.
Yeah.
Amazing. Um, Alrighty, we're gonna restart that. Hey
All right.
guys, welcome to the first. Oh, people are still flying through. 1 second. Damn. Alrighty. So, um, welcome to QWave's first masterclass of the year. Um, we're very excited for the honorary. First of the year is always very important. Setting the pace for the rest of the year. So, just a quick backstory. I found Zane's music like a month ago, and it was about an instantaneous connection. I was like, this guy's got to come through ASAP, and give a class because the music that you're about to hear is unlike music I've really ever heard before, which is already something that is essentially like a guaranteed like soft spot in my heart. Um, I don't want to talk for too long, but real quick, Zane is my age. He's 22.
22. Yeah.
22. He's based out of Chicago, and honestly, in a couple years, this is probably going to be a very famous masterclass. So I'll let him take it away.
I hope so. But
I know, I
hello
know, I know.
everybody.
So
Look at that. It's sweet. Hello everybody. I'm Zane Alexander, and I'm here to talk to you guys about my method of sampling. You know how I go through it, what it means to me, why I do it, why I choose to use that avenue often. So yeah, if y'all have any questions at any time or any comments or anything like that, just feel free, say whatever you want. Um, I'm an open book, so let's get started. All right, so got a couple questions here. I'm gonna go through them and and just talk about the whole shebang. So number one, to me, like what is sampling? What do I use it? Um, to me, sampling is using pieces of art that strike you because I like to use pieces of art that that move me in some way or that I find interesting in some way, obviously. But for me, it's to use that art and to create something even more personal than my connection to it. So whenever I'm listening to a piece of music, as with anybody, you form some sort of connection to it, whether it's positive or negative, whatever emotion it brings out, is some sort of connection. And to me, the use of sampling, the use of morphing a song into a new one is just using that connection that you made and making something physical out of it. So that's why I like using it, and I use it so much honestly because I feel like that method of making music is more a lot of the times it can be more exciting for me when it comes to building a piece of music because you are I forgot who exactly said this. It was a very very big pop artist. I think it was Marina from Marina and the Diamonds. Um, and she said, I believe it was her. Correct me if I'm wrong. If anybody knows, but when you're creating music, she makes pop music. Um, Within certain bounds, it becomes a lot more interesting to try to be creative. So that's essentially the approach that I take when it comes to sampling. And the other part is how do I sample? That's a really intricate question, but when it comes to overall, I like to, like I said, pick things that just really stand out to me. Even something that usually wouldn't be in my area of my listening circle. It's just something that whenever I find something that stands out, I'm like, okay, let me just put this in a folder for later and you see. So basically, I just answered the same question twice. And as for what should you sample, um, I really, 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 truly believe that people should always be out of their comfort zone when it comes to any type of art because it's imperative that we listen and consume art from perspectives we're not used to. That allows you to become a more worldly person. Honestly, I think it just helps with becoming a better person in general. Um, just being more tolerant of other people and other aspects of life, things that you may have never thought of before. Situations you may have never thought of before. Um, so I think that you should just go. Fucking sometimes I just go to the thrift store and pick out just CDs that look cool. I have a fuck ton of them right here. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, should I?
You could swear, bro. Fuck it.
Okay,
Fuck
good,
it.
good,
Swear.
good,
Just swear.
good. Could I turn up the volume? Yeah, hold on. Let me figure that out. Give me a
we
second.
try. We try not to censor the artists here.
Good, good, good. Settings, audio, input, blah 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 blah. Okay, how's that? Is that
It's great.
louder?
Yeah, it's great.
Okay,
Awesome.
great. So, what was I saying? Oh, bunch of CDs. Sometimes I just go to the thrift store and get a whole bunch. Go to a record store or whatever, something that's near you. Go to a Goodwill. Go. I'll drop some actually some links in the chat in a little while when I have some space to post some links to some things that I go to personally. So hopefully you guys can you know enjoy it. And the next question for this portion of the sampling part is how can you enhance the sample? And to me, enhancing the sample draws back to that kind of philosophy that I had. Um, if a piece of music already makes me feel emotional in some way, um, I believe it's really, really difficult to make it better. And that's ultimately the goal for me. I want to make better music. I want to make amazing music. I want to make things that last the stand of time or that stand the test of time. Sorry. And it can be really, really difficult to do that. And I think the important part of enhancing a sample is to find the part of it that struck you the most, something that stood out to you the most, and to create something that you think you would have been impressed by if you heard that the first time. If you came across this thing and you would have been like, holy shit, that's something. That's the goal. That's how you enhance it. You find the avenue to reach that point. We're gonna go through some of the avenues that you can take in a little bit. All right. And then we've got how to find this music and blah 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 blah. So where can you find samples that enthrall you? Now, usually for me, obviously you can go back through your childhood, find things that were just in your head or that were on the radio or that your parents were playing, siblings were playing, that you heard on the street, whatever. That's always a good place to go back to. I sampled Nicki Minaj's Anaconda at some point, so you can use anything. You really can. It doesn't matter. You can sample construction sounds. You can sample. One time I recorded a bus stop beeping. That was the fucking like main part of a song. It doesn't matter. You can do anything. The world is your oyster. So do whatever you want. Sample absolutely anything. Even you could. There you go. Right there. That could be a snare. You turn that into a snare right there. So I'm not gonna pat myself on the back, but that was pretty cool. Delve into the uncomfortable when it comes to sampling. That was what I was talking about earlier. Delve into the uncomfortable when it comes to listening to music. In turn, you will find more music that you can sample. And just search anywhere. There's a bunch of crazy ass websites out there that have like 400 monthly visitors or like a million, 400 yearly listeners. Just find them. Just look up random stuff. There's not really something that I can do to show you exactly how to find those things. You just have to find them. But I'm sure you will. The internet is pretty cool. So, um, oh, here's another thing. This is very important. Very, very, very important. Do not oversample. Okay, just because you can go, doing some sample. Oh, I want to make, my lead a sample. I want to make some of the percussion from a different song into this song. That's fine. Just make sure that you are not using it as a crutch. It will, um, it will dampen your creative abilities when it comes to creating music solely from yourself. When it comes to composing a piano piece or whatever it is, it will those are muscles and you need to flex those muscles. You need to work those muscles. So sample, don't oversample. Find a good balance, find the Goldilocks state. And all right, so now that we got that out the way, here's the actual fun part. We're gonna go through a song that I put out a little while ago called Fuckers. I love that title. And we're gonna go through it. We're gonna show. Let me start sharing. There it is. Okay, we're gonna go through how I sampled, what exactly I did, what methods you can use, things like that. So just let me know, Adam. You see this? Everything's working good.
Yeah, everything's working good. If you want to play a little snippet, I'll let you know if you hear it.
Okay. Let me know if you can hear this.
Great.
Okay. You hear that?
Stereo and everything. It's amazing.
Great. Okay, everybody. So, you know what? Honestly, let's start here. Let's start here. In this little space. So, you can see we don't have too many things going on. There's probably some things I could have been more efficient with when it comes to the audio effects, the little plugins, but who cares? It sounds awesome. So let's start with this little bit here. We're gonna pull out the original sample. Let me just make another track here. Okay. We're gonna pull out the original sample, unwarp it so we can listen to just a little bit of how this song sounds by itself. Oop. This is just a really, really pleasant sounding song. Very, very calm. Unlike the song that it's currently in. But that's so we've got something that doesn't necessarily seem like it's gonna fit once you guys hear later in this song, but it doesn't matter. It's just something that hit me, something that I felt, okay, I need to use this, I need to incorporate this just for a little reminder for myself, months, years down the line, oh, I remember that experience I had. And that's really the core of what all this is about. Ultimately, when I'm making this music, whenever I put these little sounds in here, I'll show you some more later. There's a fuck ton in this song. But they're used as little reminders to myself, little Easter eggs, and just, sometimes little jokes that I have on myself. I think that it's very important to see music that way because, then it's actually fun and it doesn't seem like just a business, which is a very difficult hurdle to get over. So here we go. We're going to use this a little bit. We're going to play this again. That was the wrong. That's the wrong sample. My bad. Here we go. Okay. All right, so this is obviously, I'm sure that most people know what this is already. This is just called chopping, right? So we chop little itty bitty parts of this sample. This was not what I just showed you. I'm a liar. I'm sorry. It's for the later.
You're good. You're good.
Point is, we can just, I'll just undo this later, but we got this thing. Very like some nice score shit. I don't know, man. I don't know what that's from, but it sounded cool. That's the point. So we chop it up. Find the little parts that would be auditorily pleasing. I don't know if that's a word, but we chop it up. There you go. That's the end of that. Nothing else there. So we go next. Also another chopping job. This is just, a lot of what sampling is finding little itty bitty parts, which again, I'm sure that most people understand. But it's just as important that you don't oversimplify your sample. Okay, don't just go for the parts that are big and flashy that sound the best. Sometimes it's nice to put in, at least for me, my method is sometimes finding little itty bitty pieces that stick out just a little bit, that make it that much more unique, that make it that much more you. So it's important to find those places. But here we go for a little more of the sample. Free from automating. That is a widening effect a little bit. I'm not sure if I also. Let me see. Did I also? Yeah. Okay. So I also widen the sound as I am bringing up the EQ from a low end to opening up the higher end. I also made the sound more stereo, from mono to stereo, as that's happening. And that gives that a very like kind of underwater sound at the beginning, right? And then you get to this is an arranging part of the song, just as important as a sampling part, as a mixing part, as the words themselves, is the building of the song. Also, on the same song. So we have that. Bass just from the exact same sample. Saturated a little bit, make it a little crunchy. I like my sound a little harsh, so we put that in there. Lots of EQ, a lot of EQ, and a little compression, as you do. Compression is very important for bass, by the way, especially when you're using another sample's bass, because there's a lot of fluctuation with the sound, especially in older recordings. So that compression is very important. Don't forget to compress. Don't overcompress though. And then let's keep going. We're in the beginning of the song.
My mama ass, how she could raise such a burgundy horn, motherfucker, like we not half each other.
Stop it there. So now we've got this new part. I believe this is still the same. Yeah, this is still the same song, but we're just using it a little different. I believe, honestly, guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. I tried to figure this out earlier. I don't know what I did to make the sound like womp womp. I couldn't figure it out. I have no idea. I don't know what one of these did that. Maybe
sounds like an auto filter.
It seems like it, right? But I can't find it. I don't know. But I'm assuming that I use an auto filter. I probably, actually, I didn't even find out about auto filters until recently. So I probably just found one of the EQs and did the same thing that I did. Yeah, that's what I did. Okay. You guys can see it here. Did the same thing I did with the beginning of the song to make it sort of a psychedelic. And personally, I just love using EQ. It's just really, really fun with the sounds you can get. A little bit of grain delay to kind of add some crunch and a little bit of to me, it kind of sounds like the Matrix. So that's just what I put in my head, like a Matrix sounding sound. Compressor again, and probably made it a little wider as well. Yeah, increase the width a little bit. Very important with stereo, especially for other artists. Sorry, I see a little chatter here. Filter sweep, basically, Ellen. Yes, good job. So stereo also a very, very, very important thing. I think that's why. Hi, Ibrahim. I think that's why Adam. A big part of why Adam probably felt my music stood out a little bit. I put a lot of work into making sure that the stereo field is being utilized properly. So for this particular song, I felt that it was a good idea to keep this main, I guess I would call this sort of a lead, the lead for this song, what would act as a lead for this song, to the sides completely. I needed space for my voice. It's a very strange voice, so I definitely need all the frequency range that I can get out of it to show my performance the best, and to make sure that's not being muddled up by other sounds, because I use a lot of sounds in my music. So for me, it's very important to keep a lot of main elements almost completely to the side. If not completely, then it's very exaggerated.
My mama asked how she could raise such a
Little snare, some kicks. That's about it for this part.
1% steady telling me I'm my own snubber. These bad cracker jack passy should have worn rubbers, but now I'm trapped.
There's a lot of these pieces you can see that aren't utilized. There's again, just experiment. There's so much stuff that I don't use in my songs, so many songs that you'll never hear. Just experiment. It's okay. Use whatever you can use. Absolutely anything. And just be as creative as possible. So we keep going.
These bad cracker jack passy should have worn rubbers, but now I'm trapped.
I completely forgot that I also did a lot to my voice. Sorry about that. So we'll go down to the vocals. Now, as for the vocals, I love putting just the regular Ableton amp right on the voice. Sometimes I'll double it with one take that has the amp on it, one take that doesn't have the amp on it. But honestly, that's all up to you. For this song, I wanted to be very aggressive. So as you can see, there's a bunch of stuff, a lot of stuff being automated. Guys, automate. It will make your song feel so much more human. Please do it. And I'll show you a little bit of what I do. I already showed you a little bit of the EQ automation. For my voice, we've got the EQs that you need, the saturation, bunch of amps for different parts. I'm sure that I use one of these here.
How can I be born grumble? Rewire everything I aspire to. Somehow I stumble. 1984 in the common era. Never did care. Fuck 'em.
I did. Wait.
so I can actually
I'll
love.
some parts where I used it. So anyway, we've got that. We've got a lot of stuff here, a lot of processing with the vocals. Also, be sure not to over process. As you can see, not all of these things are activated at the same time. A lot of times when it comes to over processing your voice, it'll just sound muddy, or you'll stray too far away from the original concept. The original reason that you put that plug in there in the first place. So, don't be afraid to just, slap an amp on there, slap an EQ, leave it alone while you start, you keep building your song. And we'll go to the chorus now.
Never did care, fuck 'em. Fuck 'em. Fuck us.
All right. So for this part, we're still keeping the same sound. So I wanted to keep the sample the same, obviously. But yeah, we're keeping the same sound. I just wanted it to, hit a little harder. I wanted it to be in your face to let you know, fuck you, basically, because that was the name of the song. So yeah. Here we go with the kicks. Another example of chopping up a sample. Now, this isn't the same as finding a song, finding a part of the song, whatever, but this is a sample of a kick drum that was in one of these packs that I have over here in the endless sea of shit that I have in here. And it's also important, the drums, people, especially in hip hop, you got to pay attention to the drums. Okay, you can't just have a goddamn triplet flow hi-hat for every song. It's boring. No one wants to listen to that. Adam doesn't want to listen to that. You guys don't want to listen to that. So
hey, don't drag me into this, even though you're 100% right.
How do I mix my vocals? Okay, let me go back to that real quick. I'll give you a quick thing. So for this, usually, first thing you're gonna do for me, I'm gonna take a lot of the low end out, at least a lot for me. So I usually cut it around here. Put a little bit more high end because my microphone kind of takes a little bit of the high end out. The middle mid tier frequencies are pretty much fine for me. I don't need to do a lot for that. This is not a sidechain, so I also did more in Pro Q3. Honestly, you don't need as many EQs as I use. I'm just kind of stupid, and I use too many, and I keep redoing shit. So don't do that. Keep it as small as you can. Keep it as concise as you can. But I use a lot of EQs. Take a lot of the low end out. Sometimes I take a little bit. This area specifically is a little muddy with the vocals, so you want to take maybe not, 3 to 5 decibels, I would say, for most people. You usually don't need to go as dramatic as 5 decibels, but it's a case by case basis. You have to just play around with the EQ when it comes to your own voice to see, how it works, because it's not a formula that you can follow for everybody, unfortunately. But I will say, this range right here from about, I would say, 250 to around 450, 250 to 450 is where that muddiness will really show up in your vocals. So work around there, subtract some of that EQ, and work with it. For me, I need a little bit more higher mid, so I boosted that a little bit with the dynamic EQ. Honestly, guys, I would say use dynamic EQ much more than just a static EQ. It's way more valuable. Yeah, just use that. If you don't know what a dynamic EQ is, it's this part. I'll play the vocals by themselves real quick. So using Pro Q3, this right here means that this subtraction that I have, it will always subtract this amount of frequency, basically, is what this means. I'm going to assume that I had it right there. This little ghostly wave right here means that it kind of works like a reverse compressor a little bit. So once the frequencies here reach a certain point, you'll see right here.
But now I'm trapped here. A minimum is a warm number. Broke such a warm bundle. How can I be born crumble?
Frequency, once the frequencies reach a certain point, just in this field, it'll boost it a little bit, but only when it reaches a certain point, not just all the time. You understand? I hope everybody gets what I'm saying. So, that's gone. Uh-oh. All right. We're just gonna say it was right there. All right. So, dynamic EQ, very important. This is basically, a rough draft of how I mix my vocals. And yeah, that's that for Musab. Hope that helped, buddy. Okay. So, now going to the chorus again. What I was saying is, this is basically, sorry for the burp, guys. This is basically just chopping up the drums a little bit. You wanna spice it up a little bit. You don't hear a lot of hip hop songs with the cadence that these kicks have. Although I am kind of using a triplet flow, just not in my hi-hat. So I am kind of using a trap method, but like I said, just switch it up. This is kind of, in my mind, another method of sampling. This is me using the trap formula, but in a different way, just as you do with any other sample. So we got this chorus.
Never did care. Fuck 'em. Fuck 'em. Fuckers.
Also, wanting to using. Okay, sorry. Let me get my train of thought right. In the verse,
But still I'm supposed to
I'm
survive.
using this effect here. I'm using this effect with the EQ, which can be achieved with a filter, whatever you use to achieve this type of sound. There's spaces, right? And there's spaces that your mind isn't filling in. There's spaces that your mind isn't recognizing. Once you're using this, it's kind of like the quiet, loud method of music. When you're like, din, din. What's a good example? That Slipknot song, Duality. It's like, when I push my fingers into my eyes, and he's just, he's singing, and then there's like, basically, that's what's going on here. That horn is. Where are you? Sure. Oh, trumpet. There we go. Got the trumpet going to the left to add a little bit. Add a little bit going on. A little bit saturated.
1984.
Echo. Obviously EQ. Just to add a little something going on. And I didn't want the space to be. It felt too naked without it. That's all. There's nothing else to that. Got that.
1984 in the common era, probably can hear her cry out for help, sound like Michael Cera without the haircut. My hope appears and in
Music, very personal. So we've got this very little part that plays off of this previous line. Okay, cry out for help.
Cry out for help, sound like Michael Cera without the haircut.
Obviously, you could just connect it Michael Cera. This is Michael Cera from Scott Pilgrim saying "damn" or "man," I think. Little bitty part from a movie that I fucking love, that I've watched a million times. Wrote a little line about it. Add that part in. It makes the song that much better. Just that little part makes that song that much better. It is an amazing movie, Aiden, and thank you, Musab. So just doing things like that for me it propels the song so much farther just by having these little bits of me in this, even more than just the production, even more than just the lyrics. This is completely, who I am right here. And I think that's a very important part of music, obviously.
Without the haircut, my hope appears and it disappears by the time I wake up. But still I'm supposed to survive and smile after hair and makeup.
With the chorus, with this part, we've got this little guitar. We can hear a little bit of the drums, but not really. But this is now in the entire stereo field. Instead of just little bits popping in and out, this is a constant sound that's always there, that's making you feel the sound more alive. It's more wide. Everything seems more energetic. Very, very important when it comes to keeping a listener's attention.
Never did care, fuck 'em. Fuck 'em. Fuck us.
Second verse. I just want to also show you when I cut in and out of the sample and put, a snare where the lead sample should be playing. That is kind of like allowing the whole song to breathe, allowing every bit of the track to shine just a little bit. So in each part, for this chorus, each part of the song, this little part right here, this little section, has its time to shine. So for a little bit, you hear the kicks, vocals, both have their time to shine. Right there, you see the and the bass has time to shine. Right there. I don't know, is that a rim? That might be a rim or a crash, whatever it is. You hear the percussion, it has time to shine just right here. With the decay, you hear the voice with the decay. So what I'm saying is very important. Don't just slap your bass line, slap your sample, or slap your lead, or pad or whatever you have on there. And once you have a good loop, assume, okay, that's all I need to do. Bullshit. That's boring. Don't do that. Okay. Once you have that it might be like a 4-bar loop or something. Once you find that 4-bar loop, often this is where I find the beginning for my tracks. Once you have that 4-bar loop, say, okay, what can I do to this to make this more interesting? I have the drums, they're smacking right now. The synth sounds great, the guitar sounds great, whatever you have. How can I make this more interesting? If you find some other music that you've been listening to recently and you're like, damn, that really sounds good, that's really amazing, what are they doing? You need to research what techniques they're using and apply it to your own music. For example, I'm sure everybody has heard this song a million times over by now, but it was by Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush. It was in the Stranger Things new season. I'm sure everybody's heard of it. Near the end of the song, she does a technique that's called vocal layering, vocal stacking. She used a bunch of takes, probably 12 takes, panned them to each side, and created an effect where it sounds like it's a chorus of people singing. So I said, okay, that sounds pretty damn cool. I'm going to use it in my music. That's just what you have to do. So that's what I did. For this technique specifically, there's an artist called Mafia who I draw very I'm sorry for that. It's very heavy inspiration from, who uses this technique as well. He's very, very proficient at it. I highly suggest that you guys, yes, Aiden, yes, Pecky. Goddamn right, Musad. Anyway, okay. So, I very heavily recommend, if you guys are fans of production specifically, please check out, I'm going to type this in the chat, JPEG Mafia. And just go to Google, look up the most popular song, just get into it, surface level, and check it out. But all right, so we've gone through the chorus. Now we go to the verse. So this is kind of the second level to the loud part. So in the beginning, this is kind of like a gradual progression. Not exponential by any means, but a very linear progression of the energy of the song. So beginning of the song, very, very quiet, obviously. Second part of the song, we've got the verse, a little more happening.
My mama ass.
The second verse.
Nobody help me, I'm falling apart. Feel like I'm like a big dog in my heart. Oh God, I'm hoping for Mars. Feel like I'm fading like my name was Stark. So close. Lady like you throwing low blows.
All right, so in this, we've got this part that's just
Never did care. Fuck 'em.
aspects going on at one time. It's a lot to pay attention to. And then we go
Nobody
right
help me.
into something that is both calmer and more chaotic at the same time. So obviously the vocals are a little more they're running through an amp in the second verse. So we've got a little more perceived energy through the vocals. Just that by itself already helps a lot. But then you have to complement it. You can't just have, some fucked up vocals and a boring bass line that has no oomph behind it. So here's another method. Did the same thing with the bass as I did previously in the song. Use part of the sample, use the bass, cut out the high end, isolated the bass sounds with a bunch of plugins. Side chained it for the kicks and whatnot. Also, side chaining very important. Personally, I love the aesthetic sound of overdoing the side chain when it comes to side chaining the kick to whatever sound you have, usually the lead sound. It sounds like the beat is kind of being punched in the face a little bit. And I really love that sound. And you'll hear that here when we listen to the bass. Got low end and a little bit of high end. So we've got the low end here. This is for the sub octaves, for the actual bass part of the bass. Right now you can hear it. It's not the conventional one. It's a little weaker than the conventional bass, maybe a little bit. And then we've got the high end to the bass. Now this is what allows the bass to stand out a little bit. This is why you're actually hearing it in the song. This part, not too loud, but actually to me, I have the speakers down a little bit, so it might be a little loud. But so we've got the high end of this bass. It's just the bass duplicated. But we saturate that as well. We make it sound just like the vocals are sounding, just like the rest of the song is sounding, and just like the feeling is making you feel exhilarated, elevated, very energetic, very chaotic. So we need to make the entire track follow suit. There needs to be one fell swoop, one motion each time. And that's really where those good beat switches come from. Every sound being cohesive and every sound being deliberate. So let's listen to the switch.
Fuck 'em. Fuckers. Nobody help me, I'm fucking.
See, even that transition phrase that I just used, the 1-2, is running through an amp too. I'm getting the listener prepared for what's about to happen, but not giving away too much information. And then
Nobody help me, I'm falling apart.
and you're
Feel
like,
like I'm
whoa.
like a big dog in my heart. Oh God, I'm hoping for Mars. Feel like I'm fading.
These things are sounding good by themselves. They're just some hi-hats. In the
All of you fuckers are part of the code. Come hang out and I'm faking the load, and that's my money. I'll get
I
it.
think personally that hi-hat was enough, so add another one. Why not? Who cares? Add another one. And in the right ear. Pan them or make them both go to stereo. Yeah, you do whatever you want, doesn't matter. This is your life. So, but that's what I did here. Doing another thing with the drums, making them as interesting as I can, but also making it flow well, making it something that the listener doesn't pay too much attention to, but hits them hard right off the bat, and again lulls them into comfort with this song, making it feel like I'm a part of this now, and not making something that pulls them too far out of the what's the word, immersion of the song.
All of you fuckers are part of the code. Come hang out and I'm breaking the mode, and that's my money. I'll get it.
Give you, there's another example right there. I'm not gonna give away all the secret Easter eggs, but here's another part right here. So, in this part right here, I said all of you fuckers are part of the code. Okay, The Matrix is one of my favorite movies. Obviously, people that are in the Matrix are not aware they're in the Matrix for the most part. And this is a very, very small snippet of a part in the Matrix where Cypher, the what was he? I think he was just one of the goons with Morpheus. He was one of the guys on the ship, and Neo scares him, and that's all that is. That's it. That's just a little part. Whoa, that's it.
Whoa!
That's all that is, and but it still adds so much to the song. Like, it still adds that little bit. It's kind of like you're saying whoa to what I just said. Like you're emphasizing what I just said, and makes you go think about it a little bit again. But it also can just be used as another instrument in there. It could have easily just been another snare or a crash or an 808. It could have been anything, but this is another example of using yourself in your music, not just not just the beat, not just the drums, not just the piano or synth or guitar or whatever, but making this an active part of your life, putting your actual self in there.
Fuckers are part of the code. Come hang out and I'm breaking the mode, and that's my money. I'll get it in gold. I'll get it in gold. Kick on my bones and I'm off for the drum. My skin is as cold and it's written in stone. I am my own watch and I'm searching for home. Check it, don't test me, I'm destined at home. Let's get dreams. Gotta succeed at my 80 Ds. Could be working for talks at 23. By 24, you see me on the screen. 25, I'll be in your dreams. 26, I'll be a fucking king. 27 might be under heaven with the golly way making it. Give me more business.
All right, so for that last part, I just wanted to let that play out. But for that last part, we've got a couple of layers of vocals emphasizing what I'm saying, making the vocals seem even more chaotic than they previously did, and just and building up sort of like a riser, and building up the momentum of the song so I can go into the second chorus and the end of the song. So that was just a technique that came to me. I don't know why. There's no real reason. It's just something that happened. I'm pretty sure I pitched these up a little bit to show some separation. You can hear that in here.
Dreams, gotta succeed at my 80 Ds. 25, I'll be in your dreams. 26, I'll be a fucking king. 27 might be under heaven with the golly way making it. Give me more business.
Okay, you can see it very specifically here. Starting here.
22nd might be under heaven with the golly way making it. Give me more business.
And you can also see that they're panned a little bit. And that's, again, that using that stereo field is very important, because if not, let's see what this just sounds like.
25, I'll be in your dreams. 26, I'll be a fucking king. 27 might be under heaven with the golly way making it. Give me more business.
Okay, honestly, it still sounds cool, but just using that utilizing that stereo field adds that a little bit. Let's listen again.
26, I'll be a fucking king. 27 might be under heaven with the golly way making it. Give me more business.
Okay, so we got a slightly lower voice in the right ear, regular voice in the left ear, high voice in the right in the center. So we're just switching around the vocals a little bit. So, like I said, just fuck around. Just do stuff until stuff sticks. That's exactly what I did for that little part right there. And we'll go to the chorus, second chorus now. Also, building up momentum, obviously, as I've been talking about, is very, very important. And while those vocals did do it very well, they didn't completely finish the job. So a little reverse crash right here. Nothing big, nothing crazy, just something that helps that energy along. You also never want to overdo it. Okay? Very, very difficult to also to know in the moment, which is why, just be careful with your mixes, be careful with your songs. If you don't feel like it's where you want it to be, take a little bit off, work on something else, but do not give up. Don't give up on it. If it seems difficult, but it's something that you're like, damn, I really wanted this to work, make it work. Make it work. Don't listen to that doubt. Fuck that doubt. You got it. Anyway, yes, Joshua, it was the sonic ring sound. You're right. And how loud are you performing into the mic? Well, usually, okay, so this is the mic I use for my recording. Usually I have my little pop filter on there. But I'm it's like, I'll give you an example. Ah! Hope that wasn't too loud, but that's how loud.
That was amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. No comment. I was supposed to go to a performance like yesterday, but anyway. So we're moving into the second chorus and the end of the song. So we've worked with this ramping up energy through the entire song, progressively getting more and more climactic, and now here is where the whole thing pays off. Here it is. All right, so nothing too long, nothing too crazy, pretty short song, but you can. There it is. That's the crescendo right there. So a couple of the aspects that went into this. Here we go. What is this? Okay, so this was a very important part of this last part. I really wanted to give emphasis to the bass and the kick. That was the most important part. I needed it to feel like you were kind of like your head was being shaken, like you were just, dunked your head into water. You would keep moving out. You're like, oh my God, what's happening right now? Very chaotic. That was the point of this whole song, really, but specifically this little part right here. So what I did here was, I'm pretty sure I bumped up the compression or the side chain. Hold on, I can't see this. Sorry. Okay, I bumped up the threshold, or I guess rather bumped it down. But I made it so that the kick would take more of the sound of this sample away each time the kick hits. So you'll hear it here. You can see it's almost making it mute. And just doing that, just with these kicks that I've laid out already, I made the pattern, whatever it was, just by side chaining this sample to the kick, I have now created a sound that sounds alive, instead of just something that I put into my into my song. It now sounds like something that I've created. You know what I mean? Something that is special and personal to me. Because I can almost assure you this is no one did this to this song in this way before. So maybe later, maybe somebody will now, but that was the point. Also keeping the same duration that I did in the verse with the bass. I'm keeping that there. I need to keep that energy there. Sorry, holding his mic. I'm trying to do everything. Holding the mic in the hand. All right, so all right, so we got the bass saturated, overdriven, whatever it is. You gotta keep that same thing. And also, see what I'm doing here with the bass, cutting out every so often to make way for the vocals. Again, just like I did in the first chorus. So the ha, ha, ha. You got to make space for it. Otherwise, let's just see what it sounds like when I have that all together. So I have that all together. Let's just, this is not going to be great sounding, but we're just going to pretend. And also, we're going to take off the compressor. All right, let's see how it sounds. Terrible. Awful. Sounds like garbage. Sounds disgusting. So don't do that. Make space specifically if you are not just a producer and you are either an artist or a recording artist, or you're recording for somebody else, you're handling some vocals. Make space in the mix for your vocals, both in the stereo field and frequency wise. So, like I said, it's very important for my voice specifically to have a lot of space in the mid to high frequency range. It's also equally as important for my voice to have space in the stereo field, which is why we have panned this part completely to the sides. It's taking up the entire stereo field. Pardon me, I didn't put it completely to the sides. I made it take up the entire stereo field. And with the kick backing me up, basically that makes space in the center for my voice to exist. So while the kick is compressing, it is bringing down the volume for the main sample, the main sound that you're hearing, is bringing it down almost every time my voice is appearing in the song. So it gives me both stereo space and frequency space. And the only other, I think you guys pretty much got the whole song. The only other thing that I can show you is, like I said, that panning is very important. A lot of the instruments are panned. Let's just go straight to the issue. Oh no, sorry. So we've got a lot of the hi-hats going to either the left or the right, the ride going to the left, kick in the middle, obviously, all the time. Snare, some of it, just the snare by itself was, the original sample was already going a little bit to the right. Like I said, just creating space. Creating space, like I said, very important. So, that's fuckers, guys. And that's a little bit of how my thing works, how my brain works when it comes to the sampling. Any questions or comments, concerns about my music making, anything like that, let me know. I really hope you guys enjoyed that. Yes, Musad, the song is out. I don't know. I'm sure you can go to the Instagram post where I'm guessing you found this link and everything, and I'll be tagged in there, and just go to my profile, go to my link in my bio, and it's all there. Oh, never mind. Adam put it in the chat. Thank you, Colin. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Musad. Thank you, Ibrahim. You want to hear it live, dude? Me too. I want to perform. I've been missing it so much. Okay, Tyler. Tyler, you got something to say? Thank you, Kenya. Thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, hold on. I got it. Run. Got you. All right.
So real quick, Zane, first, so is this
Yeah.
is this all you wanted to share with us today in terms of projects, or did you want to dive into anything else, or do you want to do question period? What's up now at this point?
Well, I mean, this was what I wanted to show you definitely for the class. It's been
Mhm.
about an hour, right?
Right. Yeah, it's been about an hour and a
Okay,
bit.
so that was my class plan. Listen, you guys. Hold on. You guys want to see a little something unreleased? I can do that for you.
I
can
please,
do that for
please, I'm begging all of you to just agree, please. Thank
I
you.
can
Thank.
show you
Oh,
a
it's
song.
blowing up. It's blowing up. Okay. Yes.
Let me answer Tyler first, and then I'll show you guys. Hold on, I'll get that loaded up real quick. But okay, Tyler, in terms of sample selection, do you consider music theory key a lot when it comes a lot with the samples you choose, or is it based on the personal connection? Dude, I can barely read music. I barely know music theory. I know I know the scales. I know what notes are on each key. You know, I know what notes correlate to each key with whatever instrument. But when it comes to majors and minors and all that shit, I have no idea what that means. I will someday, but I don't give a shit right now. I do consider just on an instinctual level the key, obviously, because I'm more prone to certain keys and certain notes and chords rather than some other ones. I mean, as opposed to some other ones. So yeah, you know, like I'll like the B key more than I would C. You know, it just sounds better to me. I like using stuff more in that. So sometimes, but usually I'll just warp the sample and I'll put it to whatever I want it to be. You know, I don't think too much about what it is in its current state when it comes to what I want to do with it. Just if it hits me. So I guess more than personal connection than the key and all that. All right. So anybody else has any questions, just ask, go ahead. But I'll play this little sneak peek, little something real quick. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. I need to get a little bit of feedback. It was on a loop. Sorry.
Unreal. Can I just say real quick, guys, pay attention to the way in the beginning that I don't know how exactly. Obviously, there's ways to approach this, but the way that he's sort of crafted the intro of the piece to sort of like go in and out and sort of like grab you in and then pull you out and then grab you in, and just by the use of, I'm gonna say it's volume, but I can't be sure. Am I right there? Is there a lot of volume play there?
It's well, there's a lot of there's a little volume. I think a little volume play going on in there. Um, most of it is a lot of compression. Like I said, that compression will really help, and I love to use that tool. Um, but that compression will really help when you're sidechaining the kick to, again, this is another sample. It ducks down that volume, so I don't have to do that in automation or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
And I just have to use the threshold to show how much, and I'll automate the threshold depending, which I did. I'll automate the threshold depending on how much I want the volume to be ducked down or not.
Right. And just for the members in here, we'll be covering for those who don't know, we'll be covering side chaining later in the year, but just very briefly, it's a way to sort of use one audio to trigger, like Zane said, the ducking of the volume of another, so that you can use rhythm to control dynamics and volume. But yes, continue. Sorry.
Right. Yeah. The sidechain will, it basically uses one audio source to take the place of another audio source. Is essentially what that does. Very useful tool. Pretty underutilized, especially in mainstream hip hop, because mainstream hip hop sucks dick. So more people should use it. Not all mainstream hip hop. Let me take that back. Just a lot of it. So yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed, talking for forever. This is what I love doing, talking. So thank you guys a lot for listening to me and attending it all. It really means a lot to me, more than just Adam is here. So thank you guys. Seriously, I really enjoyed this.
Awesome, man. Thank you, Zane. Thank you so much. If you have any questions in the chat, guys, now would be your last time to send them in. But if not, just want to thank everyone for coming through. Great turnout. Seems like even when you brought up the unreleased in the chat, just blew up. I think that's a good indicator of saying that there's a lot here that was just so beneficial. And we can't thank you enough. So on behalf of everyone in the chat who's already saying thank you and how much they learned, I'm gonna thank you on behalf of myself as well, because I learned so much. And it's really an inspiration to see someone take experimental music to new grounds. So
thank you, man. That was so sweet. Touched my heart.
I only speak the truth, man.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Musad. Thank you, Aiden. Thank you, Praveen. Thank you, Ibrahim. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Kenya. Thank you. Oh wait, that was Ibrahim again. Platforms, all of them. Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, whatever you have, I'm on it. So, yeah. Thank you, Vladimir.